Hey everyone, welcome back to more of the Pale Beyond. I'm DisturbingPuppet. So we are into week 15 here, and I think things are doomed. So what I have discovered from playing this, I feel like for heat, you either... Well, what I should have been doing from day one is running full heat one day, so that's 2 per person that we have in the crew, and the next day, 0. And the next day, full, next day, 0. Should have been doing that from the very beginning to save fuel. So that would have been basically half the fuel cost, because it seems like half fuel, so 1 per each, does absolutely nothing. People still get freezing, people still go to frostbite from freezing, doesn't matter. If I go full heat, people from freezing go back to normal. If we're less than that, like if I'm only running like half heat, it's totally useless, totally pointless, just a waste of resources. So why would you do that? It might have an impact on decorum. I don't know for sure. It's not clear. It doesn't actually give me definitive information on that. So we're pretty much out of heat resources, and we're only at about week 15, and I think it kind of said like 35 weeks to survive all this, and it's not even winter yet, so yeah, we're pretty doomed. So we're okay on food, but we can also burn fuel, like animals, fats, and stuff as fuel to kind of keep things heated up. So what I can do, which will buy me a little bit more time, I think, if I go back to the previous day, redo some things, we can burn a couple lumber that, like I did, and a couple penguins, possibly, to get up to full heat. Because right now we're looking at, what is this, 5 people with frostbite, and then another 5 people who are freezing. I can treat 3 of these frostbite people. 2 of them, I'm not sure what happens if we go another day past that. Do they just die immediately? Do they get injured? I would assume it's probably like frostbite, injured, dead, something like that. But we can only treat up to 3 people a day. Even if we treat 3, that's 2 more, plus 5, so that's 7. We treat 3 more of them, that's 4, so we lose potentially like 3 or 4 people dying in a couple weeks. And then just not being able to do anything with anyone. So I think what I'm going to try to do, yeah, is we're going to go back. I'm going to do everything exactly the same previously, and then I'm going to burn some of the Emperor Penguins I have to get the heat up from the previous week, so that theoretically none of these people who are now frostbit will be frostbit, and these people who are frozen will be frozen. And if we have to, we'll rely on our crappy canned food that we have that makes people malnourished, because we have plenty of ways to deal with malnourishment. We have a decent amount of food, that kind of thing. So that's kind of the plan. So everything else I'm going to try to do exactly the same, and then we'll kind of see how things progress from here. So right now, like, it's looking really, really bad and desperate. We can still do stuff. We're just missing, 5 people. Potentially, I could treat 3 of them, use the medicine we have to get them immediately up, and we can use them for actions right away. But I feel like we could only really provide heat maybe a couple times. So even at best, we're talking like 4 more weeks of heat, and then we're doomed. If I do like none, then full, none, then full, something like that. Like, we might be able to do that. So we go full, then replaying last week. This week it goes none. Next week we go full. Next week after's none. Then we're kind of doomed after that, I think is what's going to happen. So we'll have food, just everyone's going to freeze to death. That's kind of the way it goes. All right, so I'm going to try to redo that and see if things are any better. If not, we could maybe continue from where we are now. We'll just kind of see how it goes. All right. Okay, here's where we're going to change things. I did send out expeditions, but I think we might have done different expeditions than last time, but we're basically going to be doing essentially the same thing. So, feeding the furnace here. What we need to do is get it up to 50. So we're going to burn a couple of the lumber. So that's 40. We're going to go with crab eater seal, so that's 46. And all we're really going to be getting is a Adelie or Adelie penguins for our hunting, unfortunately, here, so we could just throw a couple of them because we do have a lot. They're much better for food than for burning, but we only need 4. So potentially this is a bit overkill. 2 of these is a bit overkill as well. One of these is 9, whereas that's 12 food, so alright, we'll do 1. So that'll get us to 50. So theoretically, that will keep people from being frozen here. Then when it comes to food, I could go ahead and use the resources we have for food, or we could go ahead and use our crappy spoiled rations. Let's go ahead and just burn some spoiled rations here, I think. And then we can feed people real food next time, kind of thing. So that will keep us okay. We do have one person malnourished. That person might go to scurvy. If they do, we do have ways to deal with it. We've got 8 tinned lemons, so we can just throw it in the food whenever to cure scurvy. There's no way to cure malnourishment, though, which is a bit odd. But hey, whatever. Yeah, a bunch of people are going to be malnourished, but we can deal with that. Now, if I wanted to... So people are malnourished. Can I, if I throw the lemons in, does that immediately get rid of them having... No, it's for scurvy. These guys are just malnourished, right? Yeah, I'm an idiot. So everyone's just malnourished. Which doesn't really do anything, but if they progress to being scurvy, then we'll kind of deal with it from there. Malnourished isn't going to give me any real negative effects or anything, just kind of, you know, sucks that we're eating crappy food. That's pretty much it. We got a bunch of extra food there because of our spice. Basically, people will eat more of the crappy food, I think, is kind of the way that's supposed to work. So yeah, everybody eat. Crew have their meal. Everybody gets sick afterwards. Dinner is shared, stories are traded. Alright, so we have kind of the same after-action stuff going on. Shaw, expedition's indeed the end of the line. Wonder how they'll speak to me when I fail to return. What will the newspapers say? Yeah, actually, I know kind of these results. I'd like to stick to the same, but I'm going to do something a little different. We'll see how it goes. I wouldn't worry about newspaper clippings. I'll never get to read. You have a point. I won't hear their words when I'm gone. Funny, isn't it? No matter what you do in life, you never get to see your own legacy. So similar results. We've got Hammond. I was looking at my contract, Captain. After you and Templeton, I'm next in command. So don't bloody die. I don't want that responsibility. I think he got mad about this. I mean, honestly, he's more pragmatic than Templeton. Reluctant to take charge? Yeah, like, I don't know why he's upset about this, because he is reluctant. Keep me far away from that title, nothing to do with it. Yep. And then we're going to have our crappy music issue again here with Grimly. Grimly playing on his accordion, same song from last week. More of the crew have since joined in. So similar... We'll deal with this in a similar way and just kind of progress. Templeton approaches, speaking to you in a hushed tone. Captain, do you hear this? This has gone on long enough, don't you think? What do you mean? This will continue until you put a stop to it. Your leadership is in question. You have to act. I've elected to leave him be. Very well. If you won't do something, I will. As the music comes to a close, Templeton marches up to Grimly. Mr. Glossley, return to your post immediately. The old man catches himself before returning to his tent in shame. Well, that's a different response. Oh, no, he's talking to Glossley. Okay, Grimley's the one who got aggressive. Good song. What's it about? What? What is the song about? Crowd of sailors stay, watching the confrontation. Did Shaw set you up to this? Just tell me, Mr. Stoke, what is that song about? Piss off. So you won't tell me? Grimly reaches forward and grabs Templeton stiffly by the collar. I said piss off. Yeah, Grimly, get your hands off Mr. Templeton. Makes him grumpy, of course. Grimly releases his grip on Templeton's collar. Fine, the hell's with both of you. Templeton sneaks off to his tent as the crowd disperses. So similar kinds of things. I'm assuming everything else here will be the same, so we'll go ahead and pause it here again while I get to that point. Okay, time to finish off the day and see if we're any better off. Thinking we probably should be. So one crew member cured of malnourishment, one crew member will develop freezing. So even though we're running full heat, still somebody's going to go to freezing. That's too bad. Five penguins, five more penguins. One person gets freezing. Gnomes gets freezing on the hunt. It's unfortunate we got a bunch of people freezing on the hunt. More than I expected. One went to frostbite. Two frostbites. Scurvy? Okay, we already have some scurvy. Four frostbites. Yeah, even with full heat, what we still got a bunch of people went to frostbite. So now we have frostbite and scurvy. Awesome. I figured we'd have to feed people bad food a couple times for it to go that way. Yeah, even doing this and running the heat, we're still getting a lot of people freezing and frostbite. Now we just have malnutrition on top of it. We can deal with the malnutrition or the scurvy pretty easy. Alright, well, things might actually be worse now. I'm not sure. Let's take a look here. Frostbite, yeah, so scurvy, you're out. Okay. Yeah, I'm just surprised it went from malnourished to scurvy so fast. We can deal with the scurvy with the food. That won't be a problem, but that won't give us people available till after we eat. So actually, I think I've got less people free to do stuff. We can treat some people with frostbite and get them healed up right away. How are we doing? Yeah, we could free up you. Then we could make more cures. We could use some people right away. But yeah, we'll kind of have to go from there. Alright, so things might actually be worse. Awesome. Great job. Alright. Well, we're going to have to kind of live with it. Alright, what do we have going on here? So now that we're into week 15, Kurt's talking to the doctor, it looks like. Kurt, do I, seem afraid of the sled dogs, that is? Well, are you? No. Have you ever owned a dog as a pet? No, my family does own several cats. I'd be more afraid of those clawed beasties before I feared a little pup. I suppose you're right. Okay. Hammond has something to say. That Kurt doesn't know what he's on about. Lost in his own little world he is. Must think it's still 30 years ago. Man begged and pleaded to even be here just to feel important. Don't know what you're doing listening to him. Suppose it's none of my business. Yeah, I mean, I know we should probably get off the ice as soon as possible. But we need to kind of get through a couple weeks to see how it goes first. Okay, nothing there. We do have the penguins. Let's check out the penguins, I guess. Who's looking at them over here? One of the scientists, maybe? Listen, a small group of emperor penguins has waddled near to camp. We should hunt them, then. Eat them all. Something like that. Yeah, so I think we're just going to go no heat here. We do have some people freezing. That's just kind of unfortunate. Do we do the requests? Do we go ahead and do medical stuff first? Let's do medical stuff first, so I don't mess anything up. So we can assign people. We want to start with... Yeah, frostbite is the priority. We have frostbite and scurvy. Not sure if we can do anything about that. The scurvy, that is. We both have frostbite, so yeah, let's do that. Cure everybody right away. Then we can make some more medicine. So we can get people kind of active right away. Every day, kind of thing. That's probably how we're going to be surviving here for a little bit anyway, I would think. We don't have a lot of people free to do anything. So hopefully nothing too bad. Maybe we can actually get like a free hunt off or something. We have penguins, penguins, penguins. What's this? An emperor penguin waddles into the tent. Templeton looks at you confused. Captain? It watches you carefully. Why are we not... Like, everyone should be out taking down emperor penguins so we have more food. Mr. Zach. Captain, last week's ice fishing was quite the success. We were able to gather a decent haul with some patience. Good to hear. 4 fish. Nice. Thank you for providing the manpower. Some extra rations will certainly come in handy. Doggo! Arf! Should you not be with your master, dog? Please do not bother the captain. Apology, Shaw. No doubt Stanbury smelled the scent of the last catch on you. The latest catch? Some fish were added to the stores, I take it. Stanbury has quite the taste for it. Are you suggesting we feed it to the dogs? If you wish. I assure you they have enough to eat, though. I'm certain the pack would enjoy that, but we can't allow them to grow spoiled. Come, Stanbury. Odd creatures. An emperor penguin waddles into the tent. Another squawk. Templeton looks unamused. Ridiculous. More like ridiculous. It watches you carefully, alright? Hammond! Captain, we need to talk about last week. I know you took the navigator's side, but you really need to think this through. I'm telling you, we won't last if we don't hunker down for winter starting next week. I'll consider it. It kind of depends on how we're doing with food stores. Good. Don't be listening to that washed-up old fool. Another emperor penguin. Templeton looks at the bird begrudgingly. Shoot. Mr. Gloss. Captain, a truly urgent request. Well, perhaps not urgent, but well, what inspiration strikes? Collect yourself, Mr. Gloss. Right. Well, this is the perfect opportunity to write up a proper study on the birds of this region. I asked some of the science team be allowed to write up our findings. Well, unfortunately, you're all busy doing medical stuff. This may risk us losing the opportunity to harvest as many of them as for resources as possible. Yeah, you're already kind of forced to do other stuff. Like, even if I select this, I don't think I can actually assign anybody. Sorry, we need you for other tasks. Oh, then I suppose it will have to wait. A shame. Opportunity like this only knocks once. Yeah, so maybe we can actually do some, like, hunting here. I'm not sure how that's going to work. They're everywhere! Holy crap, okay. That's a bit nuts. Yeah, maybe we can just make a decision regarding the penguins, yeah. So many penguins! Yeah, like, let's just harvest all of them if we possibly can. That would be fantastic. So yeah, we can listen. Listen to the penguins. You hear a baby penguin sneeze. Okay, that's really helpful. A long penguin call. Is that like all we're going to be dealing with here? Somebody's over here. Who is this? Is that Cordell? Yeah. Stanbury. Arf! Call them Stanbury. They're just curious of our presence here. Bark, bark. Yeah, the dogs will be probably freaking out. Anybody else? Everything looks fine. Okay. Well, we basically had this gift horse wander into camp, so hopefully we can actually take advantage of it. Assign crew to hunting the entire colony. Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. We can assign up to 6 people. I don't know if we even have that many, but we'll see how it goes. Basically everybody possible. We could do at least 1 scouting. Do we have anybody else? You're all busy. Yeah, I think we go like 1 scout mission then. Everybody else is just gonna hunt. The entire crew the entire remaining crew is set to slaughtering the colony. That only gives us 5 Emperor Penguins? Demoralizes the science team. Okay, sure. They're so touchy-feely. Take from the Hunted Penguin store. Huh, okay, so we actually have... Now we have like an actual food store separate from our regular food. That's goofy. Why is it doing that? I mean, it did give me 5, but I wonder if like we now have a permanent like pile of Emperor Penguins. Let's listen in on some people here before we do anything with that. We do have one scout mission we can do. Seems Kurt and the Mole Man are still going at it. I don't know if the Mole Man, I guess, is our guy running the boiler. Not surprised the chief doesn't bend in disagreements. Maybe you should. A simple apology would allow us to return to work without issue. What makes you believe Hammond should be the one apologizing? Common sense. So in here, listen in on Hammond. Stanbury's visiting. I ain't up my dinner, are ya? You ain't getting a sniff of this. Get running back to your master. Alright, just a bite. How nice. Was thinking, if I die, the crew's fucked. My work would be wasted if I end up going under. Captain, if I go, you better keep him alive. I'm not keen on dying for nothing. Promise you, Hammond, nothing you do will be in vain. I'll do my best. Better not. I don't ask much, Captain. I ask you that. I trust you, better than most on the ice. Conversation here. Those two were bickering again over dinner. Hammond and Kurt? Both of them are talking shite. Someone should talk to them. Aye, I know when a punch-up is brewing. Talk to Junior. Do me a favor, Shaw. If I don't make it back with the rest of you, take care of Grimley. Losing Hunt is one thing, but both of us? Yeah, I mean, I'll try. Keep everybody alive. I'll try, I can promise you that. Aye, thanks. Make sure he's set up well. He deserves that much at least. I mean, if we can get anybody out of here, I think we're going to be really lucky, the way things are going. Oh, good evening to you, Captain. Apologies for the distraction, I was enjoying a textbook. Anything interesting? This was the first textbook I ever read when entering the field of botany. I'm more than familiar with it, front to back. Still, it's more than beneficial to reacquaint myself with my field of expertise, particularly when I've spent such time now removed from it. I still find it odd that you were tasked as a science officer in a frozen wasteland. Botany may be my preferred specialty, but I carry with me the experience and well-rounded knowledge to serve many roles. No doubt the Apperton Company saw that in me. Of course, I do feel somewhat left behind compared to my peers in this environment. Do you know why plant life interests me to this degree, Captain? Enlighten me. Plants' primary goal is to ensure the continued survival of their species, yet the plant is stationary, vulnerable. What I find truly impressive is how they have developed to take advantage of their circumstances. They take advantage of the actions of others to ensure their own existence. Take your average apple tree, for instance. Birds come, they feast upon the fruit, and the seeds stored within scatter to the ground, ensuring another will grow. Quite an ingenious system, is it not? A form of life so seemingly simple has outsmarted just about every other species that would otherwise cause it harm. Yeah, perhaps we should look in a different line of work. Tin food companies don't seem to be your passion. One could assume, but you would be mistaken. As I told you before, the Apperton Company carries ambition much greater than a can of tinned peaches. I'm proud to work with them. Well, I assume this topic is quite a bore for you. I won't keep you any longer, Captain. Okay. I have some ideas of what we're going to do food-wise. Fuel-wise, I think we're going to do nothing here again. Nice dogs. Do you not have work to do, child? What are their names? The one you're petting, that's Maxwell. That's a person's name, isn't it? Are they all that boring? No. Okay. Captain, there's a matter I wish to bring to your attention. I intend to train one of the crew to handle the kennel in case well, if the worst should occur, I do not wish the crew left without a kennel master. Thought you only cared for the pack, not the crew. I think is decent. A good idea, Cordell, but let us hope it doesn't come to that. Thank you. I'll ensure someone suitable is chosen. But we will speak more on this later. This is your time of rest, correct? Yeah, I wonder if we can send out people now as opposed to earlier before requests, but I wonder if it's actually better to send people out earlier. The temperature's the same. It doesn't seem like it's any different. Captain, you have a pen, don't you? There's something I need to write. Of course. Giving a great deal of thought, I'm going to make sure we all make it back home. But if I don't, I want you to pass something on. Should I die, I want the ownership rights of my films divided up among my children. It will set them up for many years. Could you pass that on for me, Robin? I'd be honored to carry that out if it comes to that. Thank you, Robin. I knew I could trust you. Yeah, so we could do a scout. I feel like it should theoretically be more dangerous now, but we really only have the one person. He's freezing. He might go frostbite. I don't think it matters if we do it, but I do want to head out because we only have crappy penguins, but maybe we can actually pull more emperor penguins from the pile rather than finding somewhere else. If we have an infinite amount. So let me just check this and see. Emperor penguin. Salvage a penguin carcass. The cold has kept the meat preserved. So I can grab one, and then we can have other people take some as well. Okay. We only have one person who's free, so yeah, let's just do that. It's like a free food source here, basically. We could probably actually burn... Yeah, I mean, we could burn a ton of emperor penguins for heat here, but I feel like that's kind of a waste. We only have the one person, so yeah, take another one out. They get to work lifting out and preparing the penguins. Alright, so that's everybody. Did I talk to Grimly? Shaw, if anything happens to me, make sure Junior has my accordion. That's all I've got to give. I'll make sure of that, Grimly. Aye. Thanks. Check in on everybody else. I've got something here. Kurt and Mr. Hammonds are still at odds, I see. The engineer and the navigator butting heads. That's not a good sign, is it? They're smart men, Doctor. I'm sure they'll reach a peaceful agreement in time. I would hope so. There's no need to worry. This will pass. Captain, something worrying occurred to me. Enough time has passed, those back on land will know something went wrong. My parents are optimists, but they've no doubt done their research on expeditions such as this. Must be missing you dearly. No doubt. Well, all the more reason to return home. Can't let them waste away waiting for me. Yeah, I think this was a conversation I had before. I didn't actually do that in the previous day, so getting it now. So, same thing. Yeah, we're going to respond the same way. So, he's talking about his father being mortified. Should be concerned, not mortified. And his father sort of led him to going on this expedition in the first place, so he might be feeling guilty. So, right, we have a bunch of stuff. So, people are ill. So some people have scurvy, so we can treat that. That's not a problem. We have food. The question is, do we want to burn anything for fuel today at all, or do we just ignore it? As far as that goes, I don't know if we even treated everybody with frostbite. I don't think I did. Let's take a look. Food will be my first priority because we kind of have a bit of an issue with that. I'm going to call it a night, see you for breakfast. And the next day, we'll have to deal with that. Will be this week, Shaw. Did we eat already? Why is it on... am I confused? I feel like we haven't eaten yet and stuff. Am I crazy? So we have a decent amount of emperor penguins. We still have the leopard seal. Yeah, we haven't eaten. We do have some people who are demoralized, so we could go ahead and get rid of the demoralization by eating the leopard seal. I think that's what we want to do. And we have all these little tiny penguins. Actually, we don't even need that many, do we? Because we're already at 21, we just need 50, so yeah, that's all we need. Then we want to get rid of scurvy. So we throw in some tinned lemons, and we're good to go. So we're curing demoralization with the leopard seal, curing scurvy with the lemons. Huh, so the fish causes malnutrition as well. Vile, oily fish are hard to stomach, but food nonetheless. Better to be burned or fed to the dogs at the kennels. Huh. If I feed them to the dogs, what does that give me? So, demoralized and scurvy being taken care of. We got some extra food because of the spice. Okay. Air's a bit tense these days, isn't it? Not surprised, time's catching up to us, right? Can't take another week looking at it, nothing but the ice. Yeah, I feel like we didn't call people to a meal, did we? Like, that was last week, right? Yeah, we fed everybody bad food and stuff last week. We didn't actually have people eat. That's kind of weird. Okay. So, over here, at the kennels, what happens if I give food? Dogs need to be spent first before you can replenish them. Okay, so if the dogs don't recover, we can get them to recover with the fish. Alright. So we could burn the fish, because they're oily. So they burn a little bit. I feel like just going no heat, and then we can try to get some extra heat the next day is probably the better call. Even though he says she needs fuel for the week. Realistically, we have a bunch of emperor penguins, so that's a temporary situation, and they're better for food anyway. Elephant seals are pretty good to burn. These little penguins are not good really at all. We still have some spoiled rations, but we don't really want to use those. 9 for the furnace honestly isn't that bad. So we could potentially go nothing today, and then if we get another 4 fish, we'll have enough that we can heat everybody up just by burning fish the next day. So I think that's what we're going to try to do. Not sure if that's the right call, but what you going to do? Alright, so yeah, there's no, like, calling people... Crew need fed for the week. Yeah, we already fed the hoosh pot, but there's no, like, button to, like, call people to a meal, so that's kind of weird. So I guess we'll progress. -10 loyalty. Crew member cured of malnourishment. 3 people will become freezing. Food's fine. No fuel. So 3 people will go freezing. We'll probably have some frostbite. We're losing a lot of decorum here. I wonder if that's because we're not running the heater at all. Like, if that's a factor. And it might also be him getting grumpy because of that. The thing that's odd here, though, is at this point, as far as I can tell, there's no way to get out of this and go back and change what you're going to do. So I can kind of look and see, but it's not actually like telling me. So it's at 20. So yeah, if we actually run lower, we're getting minus because of that. Okay, so the only real reason to run at half heat is for decorum. That's it. Do I have a way to now go change that if I want to do it? Even if I have it at full, still one person's gonna get freezing. Half 2, nothing 3. So it does have an impact on people as well. So yeah, we might want to run it at half then. But there's no way for me to like exit and go do that, right? As far as I can tell, there isn't, which is kind of weird. Huh. Like, I can't even call up a menu here at this point to go change anything. So yeah, like, knowing this, it would be better to run the rations at half. Can I exit back out? Is there a way to do that? I can confirm. But if I go to half now, I can't do anything. So that's really bizarre. You'd think there would be a way to kind of like, okay, I can kind of see this, now I can go back and make a few adjustments. But yeah, I can't confirm or anything. So we are losing a bunch, and we're also losing Hammond's loyalty by not running fuel, period. And we could run some from the fish. Yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate. So I think we're just kind of stuck. So we'll just go ahead and confirm it, and then we'll try to run full fuel the next day. Maybe. Or we'll go half. We'll see. So actually, there is a reason to go at least half. So we're keeping Hammond loyal. We're actually helping a little bit for people getting freezing. All that kind of stuff. Two Johns has died. What? Yeah, it was the only person we didn't treat the frostbite. So frostbite goes to immediate death. Alright, that's pretty crappy. So our first death there, 2 Johns. Why are people succumbing to scurvy? We put... What? What? What is going on? Okay. So... 2 Johns died from frostbite. So you go frostbite, dead. You don't treat the frostbite, you're dead. Unfortunately, we couldn't treat him, so understandable. So people got frostbite. We put lemons in the food. Nobody should have died from scurvy. So 2 people dying from scurvy is completely ridiculous, and I don't understand why that's the case. Flick has succumbed to their frostbite. We treated everybody. We treated 3 of the 4 people who had frostbite. How did another person die of frostbite? Sometimes I feel something's wrong here. Yeah, especially like at the very least, there should be no scurvy deaths. We put the lemons in the food. Nobody should have had scurvy anymore at that point. Unless it's limited on how much it works. Maybe I have to put more than 1 in. I think that's the end, isn't it? Like, I think we just lost all our decorum, so it went down to 0. Well, that's happy looking. We could definitely do something a little different for this day, so we'll go back and redo this day, but... 16, the expedition tore itself apart. Decorum-based game overs can also be disabled from the accessibility tab in the settings. All right. So what we'll do is next time we'll redo that final week and see what we can do. I mean, at the very least, we can get some heat in there. I might have to put more than one lemon in to stop people from dying of scurvy. That's pretty weird. It seems like it should be like one and it's good, but apparently not. All right, so that's a bunch of deaths in the Pale Beyond and the expedition tearing itself apart, despite my efforts to keep things going. Yeah, pretty crazy. All right, we'll come back and try that again. All right, this has been more of the Pale Beyond. I've been Disturbing Puppet. Thanks for coming by. Hopefully, I'll see you again another time. Until then, have a good one.